I'm trying to remember the last time the Habs won a game against Washington in Washington, and I can't. Hey everyone, it is Ben back again, and the Habs win. What are you still doing here? You were supposed to be gone.
Yes! Yes! Yeah!
Because if not, they're gonna get blown away.
The cannon. It just kept firing.
I am excited. Hello everybody, it is Ben back again, and this time the Habs win. They won somehow against the Washington Capitals, 3-2 in Washington. And let's get right into it because this is actually a game they played well in, like throughout. First period starts and we see the Gallagher, Plekanec, Lehkonen lines back together. They had some success a little bit earlier in the last probably month or so. I was like, okay, not the worst line, can bring us back together. I'm cool with that. And we also see though Byron still at center, which I'm not in love with. And we also see that Delorier is still on a line with Drouin and Galchenyuk, which I'm also not in love with, but let's persevere. And hey, through the first few minutes, Habs are looking great, dominating the scoring chances, dominating the shots. Grubauer actually has to look pretty good on a couple chances. Washington comes out looking pretty flat for the beginning of the first. We get a little bit of 4-on-4 about 7 minutes into the first, but neither team really gets too much in the way of chances. And yeah, aside from that, there was a few really good chances from the Habs. A couple of chaos-like scrums in front of the Washington net, but other than that, there wasn't a whole lot going on in the first, and we come out of it tied 0-0. And then early in the second period, about a minute in, Charles Hudon gets a breakaway and pulls a Joe Colborne and just passes it back on a breakaway instead of taking the shot. And I'm like, if that is not an illustration of what this season has been so far, I don't know what is. Then about 3 minutes in, Habs get a power play, and hey, let's see what we can do with it. Maybe get a chance to score one. Early on that power play, Grubauer has a really good save on Pacioretty in front of the net, but other than that, Habs don't get a lot going. Then a few minutes later, around 7 minutes into the second period, Habs get another power play, and this time Habs make no mistake. And a nice pass from Drouin out to Pacioretty, who was in the top left slot-ish area, and no weight on the release, just one-timer, although it wasn't like really a slap one-timer, it was more of a snap wrist-ish one-timer, but either way, no weight on the release, just puts it top shelf past Grubauer, and it's been such a long time since I've seen Pacioretty goal looks like a Pacioretty goal, and it was so nice to put the Habs up 1-0. And then from about the 10-minute mark to when there was about 8.5 left, a few really good rushes by the Pacioretty, Byron, Hudon line. A lot of good rushes, keeping the play in the Washington end and getting a lot of good chances, making Grubauer work for this. And then, with about 8 minutes left, Drouin gets an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty for talking to the ref for a couple times. I'm not going to say any conspiracies, but like that was a bit much there, boys. Like, really? He's going to get called on it? But okay, and then Carlson just rockets a slapper past Niemi after basically everybody converged on Ovechkin once Ovechkin got the puck because, hey, you're thinking, oh, Ovi's going to take the shot. But then that just gives him the chance to get it out to Carlson at the point, who just rockets one past Niemi to tie the game up for the Capitals. Then later on in the period, from about 14 minutes in to about 15 minutes in, a really good shift by the fourth line, keeping it in the Capital zone. Fourth line now featuring the newly acquired Logan Shaw from waivers, and then Byron Frey centered by Delorier, Jacob De La Rose. Really great shift, keeping it in the Capital zone, keeping pressure on, really good energy shift, and Logan Shaw not looking too bad, getting some chances. As well as Victor Mete looking hot again. Fourth game in a row. He's looked great. Did a really good job keeping it in the zone at the blue line a few times, and just the puck moving ability he has just been a lot of fun to watch. Then with about 3:15 left, Gallagher rings it off the crossbar on a breakaway, which at that point was like the third or fourth post the Habs hit, with a few more to come. And then at 2:01, the Habs take a too many men on the ice penalty. And there's some hairy moments in that penalty kill. Niemi comes up big a couple times, and the Habs end up killing off the penalty before the end of the period, and a good kill to end the period off. And hey, we're going into the third tied 1-1 against the Washington Capitals, which is not something I expected. So, going into the third, Habs have been dominant in shots and scoring chances for most of the game. Let's see if we can finish this out. Probably going to at least get a point out of this. Let's see how it goes. And a couple minutes in, Delorier versus Tom Wilson after Delorier just lands a check. Just a clean hit, which for some reason has the tendency to start fights in the NHL now. I don't know why that's become a thing. Maybe it's because, like, fighting's down so much that everybody's just like, hey, is that what we're supposed to fight about? I don't get it. It was a nice hit, and it happens in a lot of games. I've seen it a few times in the last few weeks. But then Delorier holds his own against Tom Wilson, who's not any shy customer. And Wilson actually also gets the instigator because he was the one that came over and got things going after Delorier made the hit. And then we keep the pressure up on 5-on-5 play with another few good shifts by the fourth line. And the Habs get another power play about 6-ish minutes in. Chucky rockets one off the post early on that power play. And then about 30 seconds later, he gets another chance in front after getting it passed out to him by Pacioretty and just puts it off another post. And I'm like, I love you, Chucky, but you need to, like, convert some of those. And then about 8.5 minutes in, Lehkonen hits the post on a break. I'm just like, Grubauer's look good, but also Habs have just been really unlucky so far. Then about 11 minutes in, there's a play in the Washington zone. Patch keeps the puck alive down low, gets the pass back up to the defenseman. Jurek takes a shot on, gets stuck around behind the back of the Capitals net. Pacioretty gets a kick pass out with his foot to Byron, who fires it home into an open net because Grubauer was kind of struggling. And that puts the Habs up 2-1. They regain the lead fairly late in the third, about past the halfway mark in the third. So I'm like, okay, wow. I don't know what's going on, but let's keep this going, see where this goes. Then it goes back and forth for a few minutes, chances on either end. Then Niemi comes up big with a couple of stops with around 3:30 to about 3:15 left in the game. And then shortly thereafter, Washington pulls their goalie. They get a few chances, but then finally, Max Pacioretty scores the empty net goal. So it's 2 goals this game. I know one of them is an empty netter, but 2 goals. And it was actually a pretty nice backhand he did it on after he originally got a little bit tripped up in the play and he lost the puck and he got the puck again and just fired it on with the backhand. It was a pretty decent shot. I know it's an empty netter, but... And then we're like, oh, okay. Game's done, 3-1 Habs, cool, yeah, that's fine. And then like 24 seconds later, Lars Eller with just a bomb, a one-timer with the net empty for the Capitals, and I'm like, okay, it's the game again. And then things got even hairier with about 10-ish seconds left when there was a bit of a scrum in front of Niemi, and the Capitals almost put it in to tie it up, but then they don't, and the Habs hold on for the win. So, how did the Habs dominate the Capitals this much? I'm not stupid. I know Washington just straight up didn't play that well tonight, and they're a little rusty coming out of their bye week, and they just played last night, so it wasn't like a 100% Capitals team. But hey, Habs still got a nice win, and I mean, if you give them as many odd man rushes as the Capitals did, you're probably Habs are still an NHL team. They're probably going to score on a few of them. Patch with another fantastic game. The last few games in a row, he's actually been very good, aside from the Boston one, but there wasn't really anybody that was good in that game. Beautiful power play goal, and second goal in the game too, but I know it was an empty netter, but hey, 2 goals in the game. Niemi gets his first win as a Hab, and also first win on the season because he's had a rough time, but also the last 2 games he's played in, he actually looked pretty good and done good work for the Habs. He just kind of got hung out to dry a little bit, in the Edmonton game especially. But hey, Niemi gets his first one as a Hab. Good for him. He's been serviceable in the games I've seen him in. I don't know. Jurek with 2 assists this game, and another player who's had a few really good games in a row. I think 4 points in like the last, or no, I don't know how many points. I think he has points in his last 4 games. All assists, but like, hey, he's been looking great, and he has the puck-moving defenseman type of defenseman that is the prototype of the kind of defenseman that the NHL is moving towards. And I noticed him jumping up in the play a few times and making offensive decisions. And another guy who's also been doing that was Victor Mete, who looked good again for the 4th game in a row, I think. After coming back from World Juniors, looked great again. Not hesitant at all in his decision-making. He's making nice passes. He's strong defensively as well with all his stick checks. But He's been looking great. No complaints there. Also, nice little surprise. Logan Shaw didn't have that much play time, but he had a little bit of penalty kill time, and he looked good in the fourth line minutes I saw him in. And I think he had a couple nice chances, a few shots on. So it's good to see that. Maybe he can be useful in the future. Who knows? Now, tomorrow. Second half of a back-to-back, and again we're playing Boston. Great. I'm hoping that they'll use the embarrassment that was Wednesday's game as a little bit of motivation. Because I am going to the game tomorrow night and bringing my mom in to see the game, and I'm really hoping for a win. That'd be a nice little gift with the way this season's going. This game against the Capitals doesn't have me too much more hopeful as the season as a whole, but hey, it was nice to watch a win for once. It makes me feel good inside a little bit. Even though I know in general the season's probably going to go all that well, at least we got a nice game to watch. It was fun, and we got the win. But until next time, I will see you guys later.